Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
Everyone.
Welcome to the 145th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Shannon B. Today's topic or topics is prayer and gratitude. Would you share what these mean to you and why you're happy to discuss them here today, Shannon?
Sure. Yeah. Gratitude for me is not just like being in and out of gratitude. It happens for sure, but it's like a state of being, really and truly. If I'm in gratitude, I can't be in my selfish, self-centered thinking. I'm not in that poor me pity party, right? I'm stopping and realizing how grateful I am to have the life that I have today, not thinking about maybe the one thing I don't have, instead focusing on what I truly do, right? So I'm pretty quick at being able to reset myself into gratitude, and I know we'll go more into that today. And prayer is really thanking God for the beautiful life that I have, and I pray in abundance too. It's not like, God, oh, please help me get out of this, or, if only God, if you just do this for me, then I'll be this way. I pray forward thinking, like, thank you for the beautiful day you're going to give me today. Thank you for helping me to show up with confidence and poise and, really be present in all areas of my life. So if I'm going in to do something that might be a little bit nerve-wracking, like work related or social, I always like pray ahead to God. God, thank you for being with me through this today. And yeah, being thankful, being grateful, and, just praying that everyone has the same things I ask for in life too, you know, especially with the world we're living in today. Peace, love, harmony. We got to do better for each other.
I love that. Woo, I love you. Okay, a couple zingers that got thrown at me by people at meetings this week that I feel kind of interplay or interrelate to this worry is praying for bad things to happen. And another one is having gratitude in the moment, not for the moment. And so
Beautiful.
prayer is our conscious effort to contact with a power greater than ourselves, not only to ask for guidance, but to cultivate surrender, humility, and clarity. Step 11 reminds us to seek our connection through prayer and meditation, not to change our circumstances, but to change ourselves. Gratitude is the attitude that flows from this spiritual contact. It is the practice of recognizing that grace exists even in our struggles. As the AA Big Book says, it is a spiritual axiom that every time we are disturbed, no matter what the cause, there is something wrong with us. Prayer reveals the truth, and gratitude helps us accept it with grace. And I thought, woo-wee, that's a bit of sizzling. And, for me, I would say that the bulk of my prayer journey has been since last October. I've said it on this show before, but every time somebody I know relapses, it often gets me to check my own program. It's like my reaction now. It's like instead of just wallowing in pity or whatever it is, self-pity that I've lost another friend kind of thing, I try to see what are the weak points in my program and say, what am I talking about doing but not doing? And so meditation and prayer were something that I realized at the end of October were, if I look at it, at the steps, if I look at my program and everything, they were my weak point. And so it's been something that I've worked on extensively since then in the last 9 months, and had a lot of real epiphanies involved with different aspects of prayer. Um, I've really started praying gratitude and trying to pray gratitude for every moment, and for the lessons that I'm receiving from those moments. And then when I went down to the AA conference, I met this guy who, in his share, he had talked about two-way prayer. And I connected with him, and last Saturday afternoon, I had him on the podcast. And I've also got, I've gotten the audiobook about two-way prayer and a couple books that I've ordered and that are on their way. And so I've started trying to do. Actually, I really started to do it on the episode with him. He actually kind of walked me through one round of it, and so kind of pulled my pants down and bared my soul to the universe. And um, but it has been a real fundamental change for me because the method of two-way prayer is also like asking your questions of the universe, but inciting a response. And what I found that listening for the response provides is it provides a template for the right thing, like
Mhm.
of what the right thing to do today is. Like people are like, oh, I'm going to surrender my will, and then they just go about things like they used to. And that's and I'm 100% guilty of that until the last 6 days of my life. But to actually look at these questions that you're having about, your life or your service or whatever it is, whatever your questions are, and then kind of receiving a template of, like, that you filter the responses through honest, pure, unselfish, and loving. And if you pass all four of those things with an action, you can guarantee that that is not just your will. Like, it's pretty, you start to spot them easier, but then you also start to understand what the next right thing is more often. It's a practice. And so I'm really excited to come and talk with you about this here today. Because first of all, I'm always excited for our Saturday morning sessions. And second of all, I just think we're going to have a great old time.
I do too. I look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah. Do you want to start the questions or do you want me to start the
Why
questions?
don't you start today?
Okay. I got a zinger to start out with.
Perfect.
Prayer is not always about words. Sometimes it's a posture of willingness and a breath of surrender. How has your understanding of prayer changed since your early recovery?
It's changed drastically since even before I came into recovery, right? As I mentioned before on our podcast, it was a lot of pleading, not praying,
Mm-hmm.
you know, please God,
Mm.
change this for me, get me through this. If you do this for me, I'll do this. Like it was always, more like a transaction, even
Yeah.
though, it's not there with me in actual exchanging. It was like me just making false promises, right? Because I I wasn't asking for help because I was in surrender and wanted to change my situation. I was looking for quick relief. How do I get people off my back? How do I feel better in the now? You know, Not I don't actually want to change anything, but I just want a different result. So it's self-centered, not actual like thankfulness, gratitude, certainly no surrender, and definitely no humility, right? So now looks a lot different. I am thanking God more than I'm ever anything else. Like even in the hard times, thank you, God, for being by my side through this. Thank you for the learning opportunity. Thank you for reminding me, Thank you for showing me how much I have to be grateful for. And sometimes it's before, sometimes it's in the moment, sometimes it's after, sometimes it's all three, right? But it's a constant conversation that I'm having throughout the day with God. And when I feel bit overwhelmed in a moment too, or start to feel some of my defects, activate, do my best instead of reacting to just take a breath, you know, and like, God, help me come at this with love, compassion, kindness, and tolerance. Because sure, there's moments, I know there are, that I haven't showed up my best in things, right? Like, I don't want to engage in conflict with someone when I can try and give them grace as I want shown to me. And yeah, like humility is huge and that surrender. like, I can hear your voice a lot when I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? And I'm like, oh yeah, still trying to control things. I haven't surrendered. I haven't let go. And when I do that, that's when God shows up even bolder because I can see it now. And it doesn't mean that it's like big life changing things, but it's the way that, like, it could be the same situation, but it's the way I act in it. So very much like what you were saying.
I love that. Prayer's not always about words. Sometimes it's a posture of willingness and a breath of surrender. How has my understanding of prayer changed since my early recovery? Well, okay, let's just say I think I'm still in early recovery, but I mean, there has been a lot of changes in my recovery period. Like, it's very funny. Like, coming up to 22 months next uh, Friday, but this feels like 5 lifetimes. The journey of like, I look back and I'm like, whoa, who was that guy? And was that like, is there even a piece of him still left in me? Like, it feels so strange. It feels so strange to see different memories and have different memories flood in. And I really don't even feel like the same person at all. Honestly, it's such a fundamental shift that's occurred for me in so many ways. And it makes it actually kind of hard to talk to some people who haven't seen me in a long time because they're expecting a certain action and reaction or whatever out of me, and I'm just not that person. So when I look at how prayer has changed since my early recovery, I mean, let's be honest, there was none before recovery. Really, for me, like, I don't even know if I was throwing a Hail Mary out there. I think, like, I really don't know if I can't remember a moment that I really was. Yeah, and so every single bit of growth in my prayer has occurred inside my recovery. And the very first thing is, gosh, I would say probably, like, trying to understand the concept of self-will versus my higher power's will.
Mhm.
Like, like, that relationship initially was probably, like, some of my first hurdle of understanding. And fortunately having great people around me in options, you know and just being willing to having the willingness to do the work, it brought about changes. But I feel that there still was some kind of resistance until the end of last October, where I feel like I was like, okay, I'm committed to taking things to another level here, and so, like, there was the willingness, but there was also more of a commitment from me, and part of it was learning how to meditate, but also learning how to pray. And when I got to the point of the great resurrendering of March 2025, where, like, I really feel like it's like boom, things really just started opening up on my level of surrender, which is part of my prayer, that daily surrendering, but also that daily reminder about surrendering my own shortcomings, but praying them through gratitude is a whole nother thing, like
Mhm.
when you spoke about kind of what I would call almost an affirmation prayer. It was, I came across, like, I used to write out affirmations way before the program, and I would write out a page of it every morning. Like, I was pretty religious on it, if you want to use that word, pun intended. But I looked at it one day and I'm like, this is prayer. Like, this is prayer. Like, I mean, I went to church enough as a child, and ladies kneel down and they do the rosary, and what are they doing there? They're literally repeating an intention to
Mhm.
elicit a future state of being, and really that's what affirmations are. Like in my mind, when I look at the two, I don't see a difference between the two now. But, you know, one of the things that I've learned, and the reason why I wanted to couple prayer and gratitude together, is because I feel that it's almost like the tap turns off if we don't have the gratitude part. Like, if we don't have the gratitude, it takes us out of the state of mind. First of all, like the like attracts like. Like, if you're not in the positive state of mind, you don't see the positive things, you don't experience the positive things. They could be rolling by and you're just shitting the bed with a bad attitude, you
Mm.
know? And so now, trying to embrace the constant state of change, and embracing it really comes through gratitude, and gratitude for those lessons before I know the answers. Because it's really easy to have gratitude for a struggle in the future once you understand the message. But to have gratitude before that message arrives, that is the nut busting trick of the universe. Like, and I met this lady, Laura, who she has an astounding ability for that. She has an astounding ability for that because it turns all her struggles into, like, oh, here comes another lesson. Like,
Yeah.
she sees that lesson coming, and for what it is, and it keeps her from a lot of discomfort inside her spirit.
I
I'm so glad we're here spending
talking a
time
lot
together.
about
I have
lean.
gratitude for our podcasting.
I do too. And listening to you, it sounds like you have leaned a lot more and you are continuing to into that complete and utter psychic change, right?
Mm.
That daily reprieve based on the maintenance of our spiritual condition.
Woo.
Love that one.
I love that one too. You know it.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yep.
What purpose do you feel prayer has served for you in this resurrendering that you speak of?
Okay. What purpose? Ah, gosh. Well, the first thing is it has connected me with the universe. Like, I feel that it has provided a connection and a growing relationship with the world around me instead of like the world there for me. You know, and what it's done is it's allowed me to start to see that the changes are happening. I just need to actually open my eyes to them with the gratitude and the freedom to surrender. Like, that surrender. What I've come to realize is, okay, right from about back here on my head down to the top of my neck, that's where I hold control stress.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've realized that, and the way that I've realized it is that the more I surrender, the more I actuate the two-way prayer, and kind of, get my template for the day and back off the control. It's like there's an ease right there in the back of my head and back of my neck. Like, it's literally, I can measure where it is from where it is. And then it's like this. Ooh, and I'm walking like that. Like, it's it's bringing peace and freedom into my days. Really.
That's beautiful. I know
Mhm.
what you're talking about. Like, I get those same stress bumps and
Yeah.
my traps too when, yeah, it's anxiety or control, um, not being able to surrender. It's like feel yourself seize up, right?
Yeah, there's a physical manifestation to a lack of
Absolutely.
surrender for me. And that's why the other week when I was listening to a book, and the guy was like, picture you holding a rope, like you're in a tug of war, and do it. Like, do it right now. You're holding that rope, now let it go. And that's what surrender feels like. And I was like, oh, like when I catch myself holding the rope now, I try to do that for like 15 seconds. I hold that fucking rope as tight as I can and I let it go. And like I try to then have like a physical representation of what I want to do in here. And I love it
That's beautiful, my dear friend.
because I'm still trapped in my body enough to need a component that triggers things like that in my brain. And what about you?
Few purposes. One, like, the daily commitments that we talk about in the program and how to stay spiritually fit one day at a time. I was having this conversation the other day actually is like there's certain things I need to be doing on a daily basis in order to stay out of that disease thinking, and when I'm following this diligently, life is
Mhm.
a lot smoother. So things are smoother for me because I'm not as reactive and I'm not taking on what I don't need to take on and being able to let things go. Right. So it's like a constant communication. You know what I mean? Sometimes silent, sometimes talking out loud to God, sometimes being praying in my head. Sometimes it's just let me quiet my mind and, having that stillness and stopping that hamster wheel from going. So definitely, like, in my helps me with a diligent routine, which routine is something that I really benefit from, but for some reason, it's just not something that comes naturally to me, or I
Really?
still rub up against it sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, I know, hey, just get up, do this, keep going. My day's full. I feel better. There's still that part of me that sometimes wants to not do it,
Mm.
sleep more, I won't do that today. Just want to relax instead. And then my mental health isn't good. Not that there is some times for relaxing, for sure,
Mm.
but bucking responsibilities so that I can lay around is no good for me, right?
Mm.
And it's like innately I give into that. Sometimes it's like self-sabotage. I think we all experience that as addicts too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, being able to like express needs, to even write down, journal is like a form of prayer too, and meditation in a way because it's helping you process things without being reactive. Um, yeah, and it just like helps me seek guidance, helps me connect to my higher power, gives me an ability to offer praise and like express thanks to someone. Yeah, I love that. And also knowing that, hey, I can get through everything today with my higher power by my side
Mm.
and not just get through it. I can like thrive through it.
Yeah. I love that. Are you ready for another one?
Hit me with another zinger.
Zoom. I like this one. Okay, gratitude is not, I like them all though. Okay, gratitude is not a reaction to what's good. It's a spiritual lens we choose to wear no matter the weather. How do you practice gratitude when life feels uncertain or painful?
Wow. Like just some doozies of that. Um, Gratitude list is a really helpful tool. We did that when we were away together, when we did our time together.
That's right. When we were on block A.
Right? And I challenge myself throughout that to come up with different things. Like obviously there's the constants I'm grateful for recovery, my
Mm.
relationship with God, my friends or my family, right? And being able to show up spiritually fit today and not be addicted to alcohol and drugs. That's a huge one, right? But it's also little things, right? And
Mm.
like I said earlier, we need to do better. And I feel that general in this world, right? Like human decency, kindness, compassion. Um, those things are all free. We can show each other, just because we disagree or have difference of opinion, things like that. It doesn't mean we need to live in this punishing, condemning, hateful, cruel world. And we see it with things that are going on in this world right now, and I'm like, we need to do better as human beings. I don't know what somebody's going through. I don't know what they've gone through. I don't know. their childhood traumas or what they're facing in life. So being able to hold space for people that I love, that's a way that I'm showing gratitude for the blessings that I have in my life, being able to forgive quickly, to be accountable. Like that's stuff that I'm really grateful that God has bestowed those gifts upon me. And even like you said, in the hardships or in the undecisiveness or the unknown, like I had so much unknown when I came out of treatment, right? I was like, what is this going to look like? But I knew I needed to change so many things and just trust the process. Finding little things that I'm grateful for each day, even when life feels overwhelming, helps me to see how much I have versus what I don't have or what I'm unsure of. And if I know that no matter what, if I stay the course and, I allow life to happen and I show up and I continue to do the next right thing, that God's got the best plan for me. And you don't grow in comfortability, right? You grow in uncertainty and pain and rock bottoms, right?
Yeah.
When we get out of our own damn way. And I was saying to my girlfriend the other day, it's so much easier said than done. Like I could say that to you,
Woo-wee.
right? And I'm like, just trust the process, blah, blah. But when I'm in it, what happens? I want this done. I want this
Yeah.
away. I don't like this uncomfortable feeling. Next slide, like switch it up right away.
Mm.
But I have to realize like, okay, like I don't know the answers and I'm not supposed to, but I got to
Yeah.
stay this course.
I love that.
I know that's saying this quote I saw years ago, and I still believe it like rock bottom can be the foundation in which you rebuild your life, right?
Yeah.
When you have nothing to no stability in those terms, you're in a very vulnerable position. And if you lean into that rather than try and fight it, the freedom and just the revelation and understanding who your authentic self is without masks and without false identities is so beautiful. Like there's some things I'm doing the steps to change and the outside of my or like externally, right, in my life. But it's of course not happening on the timeline that I want or with the safety net that I want.
Yeah.
But I don't have the fear like I would have before. And I don't feel like a chokehold on me, like, well, I have to have this, this, and this in order for me to be okay with this. If I have
Mm.
faith, then those things aren't going to be there, but I have to lean in and trust and
Mm.
I'm following my intuition and what God is showing me that it's going to be okay. But there's sacrifices and things that have to come along with it. It's like I can't say, okay, I will trust God with my finances, but overwork all the time, be in fear about money, right? Never think there's enough, all of that, and still be in faith. Like there's no room for fear if I'm in faith. I think I kind of like went a little off course here, but it all made sense to me
I think it did. I think it
in my
was,
head,
yeah.
right? And grateful for the opportunity and also not comparing myself. Like my journey's not going to look the same as someone else's, and it's not supposed to. And my blueprint and what feels authentic and real to me inside, when I'm going against that, that's where the friction is, right?
Mm.
You're living a life that and innately is not the one you're supposed to be living. It feels foreign and it feels overwhelmed, feels all this, but that there's some comfort in it, even when it's killing you. It's like
Yeah.
addiction, right?
Absolutely.
It's a hard thing for people who by the grace of God, don't experience it because they're like, why would you continue to do something that's harming you, that's
Mm.
isolating you from people, that's harming your family, all this? It's a disease of no choice, right?
Mm.
Like it, even when it hurts, we know there's a relief in it in some way because there was before and it
Mm.
takes over. But fear can do that too. Fear can paralyze you and keep you in suffering. Whereas just have a little bit of courage to step out of that and say, God, I don't know what the hell, excuse me, what the heck you want from me, But I know that what I'm trying to do right now isn't working, so I'm gonna let Jesus take the wheel on this one, and I am going to sit and trust the process, but still
Mm,
be doing things actively throughout it, right? That move you
mm,
forward. But when you start trying to control things, that's when it blows up. It's like running into a wall over and over again, expecting it to move. But like any good addict, I got to be in enough pain, right,
mm.
to surrender. So today, I'm trying to not take it to that point. Like take it too far, Tina, before I'm willing to do something. It's like when it starts to fester, okay, what's going on here? What area of my life am I trying to control that I'm not trusting God with?
Mhm.
Oh, this. Okay,
Yeah,
that would be why it's stunting me right now.
taking it too far, Tina. I love that. Woo, that was a great answer. Gratitude is not a reaction to what's good. It's a spiritual lens we choose to wear no matter the weather. How do I practice gratitude when life feels uncertain or painful? Well, I mean, first of all, comparison's the thief of joy, like you were saying there, right? And then, the thing I said earlier on that my friend JJ said on Wednesday is gratitude in the moment, not for the moment. And it really is, as difficult as it is, there is a choice to initiate gratitude into your life.
An action.
Like I know at points when I was coming fresh out of addiction, I had like zero positive endorphins some days. Like I was like, I prefer just to shit the bed all day because I'm not like, I'm not enjoying things. And what does that do? It turns that lens not very positive. So that's why they try to get, I haven't heard of a treatment center that doesn't implement some kind of gratitude in it. Like every single person I know that's gone to any kind of treatment center, gratitude has been part of it. Why? Because that which we focus on becomes greater. And if we're
Mhm.
focusing on the positive, then we get more of the positive in our lives. Like there is so many minute things to be grateful for if we just open our eyes. Like it's an overwhelming quantity. But as an addict, and because of our defects and shortcomings, if one thing's wrong, we're like, today is ruined because of that thing right now. And it's like 300 things can be going well, like from minute things like you breathing, from your cells dividing correctly, from them not, like there's so many tiny things. And so when life feels uncertain, that's generally probably somewhere new or like there's probably like uncertain or painful. My sponsors say to me, that smells like growth. Like those moments he's like, I'm smelling some growth here. What about you? And the truth is that all learning comes from uncertainty or pain. All learning, all of it. There's not a single thing that you knew that you learn. Like it just that's not how it is. So uncertainty is those moments that can be vehicles for change. And some of them are amazing lessons, and some of them are lessons about what you won't like in life. You know, like, oh, I don't put my hand on the stove because it's burning me. Like simple things like that. Yeah, ow, that hurts. That was a lesson, but you don't need to die next time because of it, because you just learned it, right? And same with, living my life with addiction. Like I got to the turning point of death. I don't want to go back. How do I not go back? I stick in this program. And part of it includes the prayer and the gratitude. And I certainly have gratitude for being alive when faced with the moment of not being alive. You know, like I really feel blessed that I was awake right through my whole situation that occurred. Because people who pass out and then they wake up in a hospital bed, guess what? You didn't have the living shit scared out of you like I did. Like, and for me, there is a real gratitude for existence that has been instilled in me on a daily basis. So what am I going to do to stay in existence? I'm going to sleep. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do my program no matter what. And And you know what? And I'm going to find gratitude. You know, one of the things that came to me in my two-way prayer was that I I I feel like I can still react negatively to stuff too quick. I can be having the greatest day. I can be in a state of euphoria. Someone says something, boom, and I shoot it down or say something, like I have a negative reaction. And what one of the things that my responses was in my two-way prayer the other day was institute gratitude in shorter intervals in my day. Like
Mm,
to do it like a nice list in the morning and say, some gratitudes at night. It leaves my day way open for my attitude to be wrong. Like it's like now I'm trying to find a collection of gratitudes almost every hour to just keep me like reset, 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 reset. I was almost thinking of doing like a little reminder on my watch, except they drive me crazy when they're too often. So then, like then I'll be resenting my gratitude reminder, and I think that
yeah.
that's kind of counterintuitive. But I am trying to implement them in more frequency, in higher frequency, because the longer the interval between my gratitude, the more resentment can sneak in for me. Um,
Mm,
and so like that was just something I'm like, whoa, that is an actionable step for me. Like big lofty things like remove anger. Like that's like a fucking mountain. And I'm like, "Ugh, I can't move the mountain." Be gratitude a little more frequently throughout the day. Like I can do that. I can have gratitude more frequently in the day. And pretty much without pain, without money, without anybody else's help, I can do that. So yeah,
oh, that.
you have another question?
I love everything that you said is, you know, like when you say being grateful in the moment, not for the moment, right?
Hmm.
It's like a thinking switch too. And I'm pretty good at reminding myself that is I don't have to, I get to, right?
Yeah.
It's the perspective, how I view this. Because things that I could get irritated with, there could be somebody in the world that wishes they had that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, whoa, are we taking shit for granted or what?
And you see things, like written quotes and that you come across. It's like to, the mother that is losing patience with her child. There's a woman out there who wishes she had the ability to feel that, like, and not that we're not human and allowed to feel that stuff, though, right? It's like if you feel a little bit irritated by your spouse or oh they always leave their towels or they never pick up after themselves or whatnot, right? There's somebody out there that's been alone for so long that wishes they had somebody who was leaving their stuff around their home. Like
Mm,
it's just that shift in perspective, right? And I'm not saying that there aren't still things that we're human, and but I try to think of it like that, like that quote, you know I prayed so hard for the things I have today. And to just see, I get to look at what I have versus what I don't.
mm,
And I don't know if I shared this before on our podcast or not, but it stands out to me. Years back, I went to a meeting and the weather was pretty bad, right? And it wasn't a far drive for me by any means. And, I found a decent enough parking spot. It was a downtown meeting. And I got to drive in my warm car and go there. So in comes a woman a little bit late and she's like, I'm so glad to be here. I had to take two buses, yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking, she take two buses and then walk in this snow and in this cold. And she's so glad to be here. I got in my car in my underground parking that was heated, drove here, have a nice winter coat and boots I can wear, and a short walk in. And now I get to drive home in a car that I get to pre-start.
yeah.
Like, whoa. Like I felt gross. I
Yeah.
was like, enough of this. Like you got
Mm,
it for me, it's like I have to think about what I have versus what I don't and be grateful for these things,
Yeah.
you know, and in that moment. Like, even if you got a little tension with a family member or something, right? I'm grateful I still have that family member to even have this tension with. And
Yeah.
how can I show up differently, to relieve some of that? And, I want to show people grace and compassion, tolerance too, because I've needed it shown to me and I'll continue to in life.
Yeah. I love that.
It's my Mother Teresa speech for this morning. But
Woo! I love that.
it's just
That
even today, like there's such few things I need to do that I was really looking forward to yesterday. And then of course my one, brain cell there that wants to turn everything around goes, but it's raining out. You could do this instead. Why? So then the afternoon can roll around. I can be not accomplished, not happy, and feel gross for being lazy and laying around. Or I can get on with the day of the exciting things I wanted to do and feel great going into the evening and tomorrow. I'll take that option.
that's right. That's right. There's something to be said for the freedom that discipline and commitment offers in life. Like I did
The
a when I
freedom
did
that discipline and commitment offers. Gosh, I love that. I gotta write this down right now.
I did a podcast with Scotty N there back in I think it was the end of March on discipline. And by the time we were done that, I realized how much of my life I had steered away from being tied down into different actions and how much freedom it had taken away from me. Like when you have commitment and discipline in your life to do things, it's like you're not worried about what you have to do. Did you do the right thing after? Gone, And then it's like you feel that you actually are fundamentally feeding that body or spirit, whatever it needs, because you're doing that right thing. There's so much freedom elicited from that. And I don't know, I can't remember if we talked about this last Saturday, but in the two-way prayer quest thing, the Corinthians 13, First
I don't
Corinthians
remember you
13,
saying that.
about love, about
No,
love.
I don't remember you
Anyway,
talking about
so they
that.
recommend you do reading before you get it. You start your two-way prayer, and so one of the ones they recommended like five things, and the one that I kind of just opened to right away was the First Corinthians 13 about love, which I may say might be one of the greatest definitions of love in the planet that I've seen, and it's been a real journey to see that I'm not sure if I've truly loved anything. Like I think in my delusional states that I've loved, but there's always been some little string in there. There's always been some little string, and it's eye opening because now I read that before every morning before I do my two-way prayer, and I kind of like calibrate against it. I'm like, whoa, hold on, that's not like there's a little string on that love, and I think it's real important to know definitions of things. Like complete definitions where it's like you don't give yourself a loophole to hold on to some kind of resentment.
No,
Yeah.
right?
Anyway, I recommend reading First Corinthians 13.
I know it, so I'm gonna
Oh,
reread it. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Mm. Okie dokie. Are you ready for a question, or are
I
you
am.
asking a question? I think
I
you.
think it's you know, right? Or is
I
it
think
me?
so. I don't know. I got a little
Oh yeah, you
confused.
just did something on gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
think we just got talking. We had an intermission.
yes, share with me your experience in the connection between prayer and gratitude and your spiritual growth and positive mindset.
Okay. So I think that I have seen the importance of gratitude for years, even before coming into the program. And I've always said that where I sat in options was right across from that. That which you focus on becomes greater. And like I am focused on my recovery. I'm not focused on getting rid of an addiction. It's
Mm.
where I'm looking is where I'm going, and that's what I think is you know um very important. Can you repeat the question? I think I was getting sidetracked right away there.
No problem. Yes, will you share the connection between prayer and gratitude for you in terms of spiritual growth, your spiritual growth and positive mindset?
Yeah, so what was happening for me is that I was kind of like stumbling around in my world of prayer. I really was. I was like not I definitely didn't feel like I had knowledge of effective communication. And it was not like, I definitely know, like from my sponsor, like when he reads that, praying only for knowledge of his will and the power to carry that out. It was one thing my sponsor really kind of hammered into me was, no, you shouldn't be praying for that. No, no, shouldn't be praying. Anyway, it was good. Like there was a lot of education on the intention of prayer from my sponsor. Was
Mhm.
I able to implement it in a way that was working for me prior to March? No, I really wasn't, because I was like, oh, thinking Milan's got his defects. I got them. Don't you worry. And then it was, uh, I found my prayer pretty sparse. And then after a conversation with my sponsor about, me and my lacking of surrendering, but also though, it was pointed out to me that I was having a lack of gratitude for the things that I had already received. And that lack of gratitude is kind of like, hey man, I just kind of helped you make it through all this crazy shit, and you have no gratitude for that.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like, and I don't think God's up there with a scoreboard, but I do think that it's just that it's like gratitude is the fuel of energy in the circle. Like
Mhm.
we can't offer him a universe or her a universe, right? Like, but we certainly can offer gratitude for what we're getting to experience. Like if we have anything to offer, it's our will and our gratitude, right? Like it's not like, hey, I'm gonna make you a universe. No, it's not gonna happen today. and
Right?
and so you know, starting to see and learn from people who are experiencing gratitude in every moment, then implementing that into my prayer, where like, I'm grateful for the privilege to help and serve. I am grateful for the love that is replacing anger in my life. I'm grateful for the tolerance and acceptance that is replacing intolerance and lack of acceptance. I am grateful for a deeper surrender every day that I continue inside my life here. Like, I'm grateful for the breeze that brings the connection between you and me. I'm grateful for my dogs. I'm grateful for the health that my family's experiencing. Like, this is how I go in my morning on my walks when I pray, because there's a little spot on my walk that I find to be my connection zone. And I literally do it out loud because I'm the only one on the road in that area. And so, that's one part of it. And then now I've also got the two-way prayer, but it's also, I'm also have gratitude in there as well, for the, like, let's see, let me just look here. Okay. Um, Thank you for the privilege to help and serve. Thank you for the lessons and what they have and will teach me. How may I honor and serve the moments? How may I bring more love instead of anger? How may I bring more tolerance and acceptance to my days and deepen my surrender? How can I grow? Thank you for helping me embrace the constant state of change in life. That was yesterday. And so that's how I put it together.
I love that. It's
hmm
so beautiful.
and then you do your kind of like bullet point responses, and that, to me, it might seem really simple. And like, for people out there who are struggling with the concept of a higher power, or whether it's God or not, even if you just consider that you're channeling your intuition in these moments, you know it's like your intuition knows when you're doing something right or wrong. You
Mm,
know when you're hurtful or not. You know when you're sneaky or not. And if you put your bullet points of responses up against honest, pure, unselfish, and loving, you're going to see really quick, you know? Like, it's amazing. All I could say is try it for 30 days. If it doesn't change your life, it's going to change your life. But just try it anyway.
It does. And like I said, it's just small, consistent commitments
Hmm.
that offer such tremendous and big results.
Yeah,
For me, I
absolutely.
feel like prayer and, that positive mindset and living in gratitude and the spiritual growth all together, right? Like that helps me with my mindfulness and
Mm.
self-awareness too, right? Like can lead me to like greater and deeper appreciation, of course, for things in my life and like blessings helps foster gratitude. If I'm in gratitude, I'm not in resentment, right? Like
Yep.
positive mindset, I'm not in a negative one. And even if I drift over there, I can still reset myself and pull me back, right? Like being fully aware of my thoughts and my feelings and what doesn't serve me. And when I'm stuck, I just practice the opposite. And then you feel that shift and that change, right? Like I need positive ways to cope with challenges in life rather than getting sucked into them because my head can be toxic, right? Like my disease can give me that stinking thinking as we call that just wants to pull me back and get me into that, well, you know, you're hard done by. You deserve better. This, like pour me a drink. And I don't leave room for that to manifest or sorry, to multiply, right? Like if I feel that coming on, I'm like, no, 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 not today, Satan, and I can take that time for myself to recharge and to reboot. But it's really like I can't control what's happening, but I can control how I respond to it and how I am, right?
I love that. That's amazing. This one. So I've got another question for you here. Gratitude is the evidence of a heart that remembers what it once was and is no longer there. What part of your life today still amazes you when you compare it to where you came from?
Mm. My ability to love the way that I do,
Woo!
wholeheartedly and with
Talk
all,
about love. Come
right?
on.
Um, like it's never hardened. My heart hasn't hardened. Sure, it's been through a lot of pain and heartbreak and sadness, but I still show up every day loving people, having a full heart, being grateful, like, but I've never given up. Resilience, even though, there's times where I was like, I am so tired of being resilient. Like, I do not want to keep having to be strong. Um, yeah, and then I still have like a zest for life and positive mindset for the most part. Like, I've never hardened, even though there's been times where giving up has felt inevitable, right? But it's like, no, I still have stayed the course. I've still had that connection with God, and it's only grown more. So, yeah, my ability to love for sure, to forgive quickly, and to take accountability.
I love that. What a beautiful answer. That just warmed my heart right there. Gratitude is the evidence of a heart that remembers what it once was and no longer is there. What part of my life today still amazes me when I compare it to where I came from? You know, the steps for me have been nothing short of a miraculous journey of awareness and change. And, you know, I can't say enough to anybody who's new out there or like hasn't really fully committed themselves to doing a deep dive on the steps. They are the vehicle for change for me inside this program. They were for me. And
Mhm.
so when I look back, I came from a place of like a perpetual pity party of like anxiety, pain, anger. And what I found out from the steps was that all that was getting caused by me. And so one of the things that's occurred from that awareness is a shift and a change. And, now I have my glimmers, I call them, of serenity and my moments of peace that just were not part of me before. I like either, even even if they were presented, I would have been like, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat peace and serenity. Like I really was. They were not something I would have like. I would have been able to sit in. I wouldn't have. My shifty little drug and alcohol person would not have known what to do with them, even if they were right in front of me. And now, they're it is a state of being that is, part of my life's purpose to gain more of. And I look back and I just don't even see the same person sitting there. So I would say that that amazes me on a constant basis. From where I was to where I'm at, I'm just astonished at how long and how much pain I caused myself. Yeah.
Whoa, you saying that's like, I'm astonished too by how much I allowed the actions of others to impact me.
Yeah. Like we passed the salt. We passed the salt of our serenity. Like it meant nothing. Like just take it, pour it out on your food. We don't need serenity. Take my piece,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, and
And
like,
then pity parties about blaming people. Oh, woe is me. Look at what they've done to me. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, shut up. Shut up.
well, and it's like, okay, you're allowed to feel betrayed, you're allowed to feel hurt, you're, allowed to feel angry and all those things. But the amount of energy I
Yeah.
let that like consume me with,
Hmm.
like, why?
Yeah.
Who
Like
cares?
it.
Let it go. They
Yeah.
mean like that has no bearing on you. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's a sick person. Next. Like, but
Next.
yeah, man, did I ever let things affect me in a way it never served me to. Like it, that compulsion just to want to retaliate too, and being stuck in that spot where I know when I play God, this isn't going to work out, but it's so hard for me not to. And that inner turmoil.
That self righteousness of justified revenge. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, exactly. Self-righteous. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh,
My
like this is the time where, if it was anything else, I could let this go, but I won't now because you crossed the line. Like
Mhm.
the stupid lines we had.
Yeah, and I sat in that resentment for so long because the anger fueled me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, ew. And it's all because, given people access to my life that had no business being there in the first place. And if I had come from a place of self-worth and high self-esteem and able to set boundaries and, you know, look at my part and stuff, would have been through it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got one more for you on my
One
end.
more. Whoa. Okay.
And you ask away, or we can do the lightning round, whatever you like.
Oh, you like you love the
I
lightning
love
round.
it. I think it's so fun. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll do your question full time and then we'll lightning round the rest of what I got.
Okay, so for people who are listening that are in a negative mindset, maybe they're in early recovery or, they're getting to a place in their life with the way they've been living is no longer serving them. What are three simple things you would advise to help somebody get out of misery and into gratitude and positivity?
Surrender. Like
What does that look like in your experience?
surrender looks like this to me is that like for me it was my hamster cage of more, and it's literally like going into your brain, and for me it was right about here, I feel like, and it was like taking out that I'm putting it over here. And like that fight is not mine anymore. Like I'm not fighting against my addictive thoughts. I am merely removing them. I'm setting them to the side. And whether you're a believer in God, whether it's your higher power, or whether it's just you, like removing that little part of you that does that fight. Whatever you would like to call it, it is the removal of the battle for that. It's the letting go of the rope. Like just coming to the point of saying, I am powerless. You know, my life is unmanageable. Like that true powerlessness acceptance. I think that for me has been the single most liberating thing. Also, if you're brand new, have a completely open mind. Like no matter what's getting said, just put your terminal uniqueness on the shelf and just be open to anything that could save your life.
Terminal uniqueness on the shelf.
Yeah. And then the next is roll up your sleeves and put on the willingness to work your fucking ass to the bone. Like freedom isn't free. Freedom is a mountain of work, but it is the greatest thing you're ever going to work for in your life because nobody can take it away from you once you have it on the inside. And that's honestly that, like, those three things to me is, if you get those three things in motion, you're going to fall in love with the rest of the things you have to do. I guarantee it. I guarantee that there will be enough results and liberation that once you taste the candy, you'll be like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Um, for me, like I would say entitlement will keep you stuck
Yes.
and not just stuck, like sinking in that mud. And challenge yourself as I have me, not why me, why not me, right? Where it's no different than anyone else. Everybody has their struggles, their peaks and valleys in life. And my path isn't supposed to be your path and vice versa. We're fortunate that we have great people in our lives and lean into those ones that are coming from a place of experience, strength, and hope and offering solution. Stop building camps. Like you're not looking for support, you're campaigning when you're calling multiple people, to vent about something. Like we said on the little break here, go to the throne, not the phone. Like
That's right.
me, God has the answers, not another human being. Um, yeah, and remembering too, like when it is work. It takes work, it takes diligence, it takes practice, but it's worth it. But when that, you know, the gifts of your like, the fruits of your labor, so to speak, don't forget about the labor part and that needs to continue. Like, remember, like, it's because I stayed the course, because I stayed in my faith. It's because I did the next right thing. It's because I showed up and, regardless of the situation, suited up and showed up and let's go. That it wasn't just of your doing. You didn't sit around and these things just were bestowed around behind us because we can get into that, oh wow, things are really going great, and then we take our foot off the gas and coast. I'm not looking to coast. I'm not looking for a mediocre life. Peace is in the practice, and it's a practice in life and everything. And I love what you just said, like freedom is a result of discipline and commitment.
Hmm. It is. It absolutely is. At
No
least,
resting on our laurels. What I did yesterday isn't serving today. I got to keep going, chopping wood, carrying water.
and for those of you who are silly as me, I thought laurels meant your ass, but it actually means your accomplishments of other days. I was picturing I had this big laurel here on my butt.
And I'm like, "Shabba-daboo, who cares? Onwards and upwards," like,
Yeah,
this
that's right.
never and slowing down.
Hmm.
Oh, the things that I have learned from the relapse and the work I've done in my recovery up to this point, it didn't feel like it was going to be such the epiphany that I needed at the time, but it really has been. Like, what I used to align myself with as a sense of accomplishment was such a self-serving, ego-based way to live, and it was exhausting. Like, I know that it's stop packing things into the stream of life. Did I ever practice that? No. And
Mm.
then the way it would show up, ugh, late but entitled,
Mm.
you have if you don't have, the responsibilities I do, or, you're not the businesswoman that I am. This is how I roll. Like, my time is more valuable than somebody else's. And then I would compare how they live their lives to mine so that I could secretly be superior.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't have this because, like, you're just not favored and like, you're not highly favored and chosen like I
Mm.
am. And look at what all I have done, like, but it was all just to fuel a persona that externally was killing me internally.
Absolutely.
It's not how much I do, it's how I do the things that I do, right? And how much of my day has been spent about me and how much has been spent about others.
I love that. Okay, now we've
Quality,
entered.
not quantity.
That's right. It is.
Even saying that, I'm like, no, 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 quality and quantity.
That's your addict mind. Say more.
Oh, 100%. It's all day long.
Yeah.
It's surrendered Shannon and then psycho Shannon. Like,
Yep.
boom, boom, boom.
Yep. I know it's kind of funny. That's the thing. I mean, that's how like I can like have a super enlightened conversation. I can leave this podcast and I'm like, poof, I could be defects in 45 seconds. Like it's amazing how fast
Absolutely. To be
life
like
can pivot
spiritually
right around.
fit and high with you here
Mm,
and then
mm,
read a message and right back to,
yep.
no,
I'm like,
it,
oh, oh, stop holding breath. Stop holding
no,
breath.
it's never lonely when you're battling two personalities at all times.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good one.
it's a built-in roommate that I never asked for,
Yeah. It's that roommate you can't get rid of. It's like the bad tenant, and the
I remember
laws
during
protect them.
COVID when I like lived on my own for like, are you lonely or whatever? I was like, get in my head for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's living with my other roommates all day long.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay, lightning round. Here we go. Prayer humbles the ego, gratitude softens the heart. How have these two spiritual tools helped you navigate success without losing your spiritual grounding?
okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were jumping right into lightning. I thought you had another
Oh, no,
question.
no,
So can
no.
we
We're lightning.
okay, reset.
Okay.
Can you ask me that
Yeah,
again? My
I
apologies.
am. I know. Now you got to get lightning mode. Prayer humbles the ego. Gratitude softens the heart. How have these two spiritual tools helped you navigate success without losing your spiritual grounding?
Mm. Being grateful for what I have, not for what I feel entitled to have in the situation,
Hmm.
especially in work and everything, like, and building a business too at the same time. It some days can feel very exhausting and daunting, and I want quicker results, right? But I'm like, no, thank you for this process because I'm going to be able to look back and see the hard work that I put into this and feel even more tremendous gratitude for that. And look at what you have versus what you don't. Like that, it's constant that way, right? Things that I can get better over, some people wish they had the burden of.
Yep,
So
exactly.
it's getting out of that self-righteousness, that entitlement, and that me, me, me.
I love that.
Less me, more free.
Woohoo! Let's be more free. I like that.
Boom.
How have these two spiritual tools helped me navigate success without losing my spiritual grounding? Well, it's been a real process this year of actually having gratitude for the lesson and the
Mm.
struggle because those are my vehicles for growth. And until that actualization is made, it's like we are taught that struggle bad, result good. You know, like that's literally like in school. You've got 100% on your exam. Not, oh, you got 65% on this one because you're learning something. You know, like I never had a moment in a test or contest where I was happy to be learning something versus winning, you know. And so that gratitude inside the struggle and praying that gratitude and for the benefit of that struggle is just it's a game changer. It really is for me.
And seeing
Okay.
the growth, right? Like I love what you said. We're so programmed that the result,
Yeah.
the end is what we're striving for.
Yeah.
That it's been through the process, through the struggle, through the climb, that those are the core memories I have and things I have so much gratitude for, right? It's like, and I haven't hiked a lot of mountains by any means, but in one that I did do that was quite tremendous for me. Yes, it was beautiful when we got to the peak, right? But it, when I look back, it was when I wanted to give up, the way somebody else helped me, how I pivoted, and
Mm,
then this next hurdle and got through that one. Like that whole experience is what I feel so grateful for. And I felt such like full heart, and
mm.
just like fired up over. Yeah.
And
See,
it's like if you
seeing
look
what I
at
saw was great, but and that was beautiful, but it was the journey that was the most fulfilling.
that's it. And if you look at life and if like, I'll be happy when, like that's what consumerism tries to sell us on. But life is all those moments that happen before that one brief acquisition moment. So if the acquisition moment's all you're going to be happy in, you now have a million moments in between that what you're just dissatisfied, you're waiting. Like, it's finding the gratitude for the whole process. Well, it multiplies your potential of gratitude by like infinity. Yeah. Okay.
Like a
Next.
road sorry, I'll just say one thing. It's
Yep.
like a road trip, Like,
Yeah.
say you're with your best friend or sister or family, whomever, right? And you're like, "Hey, we're gonna road trip to get here."
Hmm.
Yeah, getting to the destination is great, but where the real fun and the real growth and the real experience comes from is that journey to get there. The laughs, the getting lost and then having to reroute, the ending up somewhere you didn't intend to, but look at how cool this is, right? Like the bonding. It's like
Absolutely.
when I look back at my life, I don't want to look at boom, 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 like accomplishments. I want to
Mhm.
look at everything that it took to get there and all the people I got to meet along the way.
That's right. And, for me these days, it's like my life is greatly simplified, but greatly enriched with rich moments. Like it's just a different, an entirely different goal system.
That's so beautiful. Okay, hit me with the next one.
Okay. Gratitude is the language of grace, and prayer is the voice we use to speak it back to the source. How do you express gratitude in your daily life beyond just saying the words?
Mm,
Gratitude's a verb
it is.
or an
Yeah,
action.
in my actions, for sure, right? It can be as simple as holding the door for someone, genuinely complimenting someone, showing patience when I'm in a line, giving grace to clients running late, not, "Ugh, this is going to push my day back." Thinking instead, I'm glad that they're coming and I hope they make it safe. When things don't go as planned, right? looking at, oh, okay, well, that allows me to do this instead. It's just being grateful in the moment. And like grace to others is showing compassion. Sometimes it's just being a good listener, holding space for someone, hugging a loved one, you know,
Hmm.
doing a little favor for someone without letting them know. And just sticking to my responsibility is self-care too.
I love that. Gratitude is the language of grace, and prayer is the voice we use to speak it back to the source. How do I express gratitude in my daily life beyond just saying the words?
Mm.
Well, I was fortunate enough to have Quill as my first sponsor, and
Yes.
he really, pushed that gratitude is an action, and so, like if you have gratitude for your dogs, then you walk them and you treat them nicely. If you have gratitude for the sun, then let it shine on your face. And it's been something that, that I've been really trying to stand up in my life with. Like if I am grateful for the struggle, then the way that I show gratitude for that is by like meeting life's challenges face to face and not running from them. You
Mm.
know, and it's really like if I have gratitude for my higher power getting me through financial trouble, I don't turtle away and not work at my business. I stand up, I make the calls I need to, I show up every day, because if I'm not putting in my part, I can't expect the universe just to be entirely carrying me. Yeah. Okay, I've got two more. Are you ready? I'm not going to ask them both at once because it would get confusing, but okay. Prayer opens the hand. Gratitude keeps it from closing again in fear. How do you stay spiritually open when facing a setback or disappointment?
Mm. Realizing and reminding myself more than anything that I don't have to know why it's gone this way. I just have to stay the course, you know,
Mm,
and try challenges, trials, tribulations, right? That's all a form of growth. And things are going to continue to keep happening until I've truly learned the lesson. And that is in the acceptance and in the surrender, right? And like you just said, is, I can't expect to grow my business if I don't reach out to clients or I don't interact with people. So there's parts of every job that I've had that I haven't liked. And that the added part of me says, I shouldn't have to do this. And I'm just not going to. And then I get those mediocre results from it. Like it's a struggle, right? I don't want it to be
mm,
that. I look at it as, okay, this is an opportunity to learn something. This is an opportunity to meet somebody I may not have, right? What is this situation teaching me?
mm,
And being grateful for that. If something just comes so easy, we're not grateful for it. We think it's expected and we're entitled to it. And then the
mm.
second anything requires, any sort of labor or uncomfortability for us, I know I went over,
I
we're
don't
like,
care.
ugh.
Yeah, I love that. That was awesome.
I
I
learned
really,
gratitude. I learned gratitude in what I didn't get rather than what I did.
yeah. Woohoo! Sweet Mary. That's a good one. Prayer opens the hand. Gratitude keeps it from closing again in fear. How do you stay spiritually open when facing a setback or disappointment? I was faced with this repeatedly in the last 48 hours, and a lot of it was, well, actually, no, it wasn't all work related, really, but a great deal of it was. And I could say that Thursday involved 6 uprises and 8 downhills. And, like if I had just put myself in the roller coaster seat, I would have just like had the most chaotic, nerve-wracking day. And it was really early on in the day. Fortunately, I had started with my program and I felt really grounded. And it
Mhm.
was just like as the setbacks or the disappointments arrived, I was like, I'm not basing my happiness on this outcome. Like, I'm not basing my happiness on this outcome. It was like my mantra that day. Like, I am not basing my happiness on this outcome. And it really just like allowed me to step back, and things unfolded in a way that, by the end of yesterday, there was a balance to it. There was a balance to it. Some things were lost and some things were gained, but it wasn't like anything worth wrecking 2 days of my life over. Okay, now I have the final question. Okay, this one you have to close your eyes and put your fingers in your ears, and I'm going to just think it at you, and you're going to like receive it. Prayer and gratitude don't make life perfect. They make it sacred. How has your recovery become more sacred through the daily practice of these principles?
Sacred, that's so beautiful. Well, for me, if I don't have my recovery, I don't have anything. And that's the truth, right? There's a difference between being sober and being in recovery, and that's a daily practice, right? And gratitude's a huge part of that. It's not just that absence of drugs and alcohol. It's the way that I show up and in life. It's the way that I navigate things. It's the type of person that I am. And I want to be loving. I want to be compassionate. I want to be caring. I want to be of service. And those things are all directly correlated to living a life of recovery. I may be the only example that somebody has of what recovery looks like, right? It's like attraction rather than promotion. It's not look at me, look at me. It's what I'm not saying and what I'm doing instead that is giving me the beautiful life I have.
That was beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, prayer and gratitude don't make life perfect. They make it sacred. Ooh, I like that quote. How has my recovery become more sacred through the daily practice of these principles? Let's start with it's called the present. Because it's a gift. And one thing that it does is, first of all, like when I'm praying, I'm really trying to bring myself to that present moment, because that conscious contact with our higher power only exists in the present state. Gratitude brings me back from like, it makes me more aware of what's actually occurring right now in my life. And when I have gratitude for it, I don't just take this moment for granted. Like it really, noticing that specialness of the moment makes it sacred for me. Yeah. Ooh, man, I think that Saturday mornings could be my most favorite morning in the world. Yeah.
It's definitely a beautiful start for me to my weekend. And, it just sets a tone. And yeah, I really am grateful for our podcast, and I look forward to it weekly. And I love the time we get to spend together and what we get to learn and experience with each other throughout the process.
Would you do the serenity prayer with me now?
Let's do that.
Okay. God,
What?
grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That simple prayer can reset a situation.
It does.
Reset
Absolutely.
my mindset.
Yes.
For sure.
Everybody out there, tune in next episode for more recovery fun. Bye-bye, everybody. I love you. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.